having your car ready for winter is very important and a very big deal. And Justin Roberts with our First Alert weather team talked with John's Automotive Service Center. He shows us some of their tips and some of their best tools for getting through the winter season safely.
Well, as we get ready for colder and snowier weather, one of the most important things to do is to make sure you're prepared, not only yourself, but your vehicle. We went to my mechanic, Al Wright, and everybody over at John's Automotive to find out what are some good things that we can do now to prepare.
We just want to make sure that the battery is, when physically looking at it, there's a lot of times that you can see on some of the stickers, or like this one here, we can see that this battery was new in 10 of 24. If you look down there, and it tells the group size and stuff of the battery. But we've got a battery tester that we can go through. We can actually show when we go into this to do a battery test. We want to make sure, one, that the battery life, when we go into a battery test, it will go in and you can check all different, you can go to a cranking test, you can go to a charging test. We want to make sure that, one, that the battery cables aren't corroded. A lot of times you'll see on the battery terminals where there'll be like a bluish green. We want to make sure those are cleaned up, make sure that when we test the battery that the percentage and the health of the battery is good for winter, because a lot of times, as I've said before on this show, that we see a lot of times where batteries, everybody thinks, oh, the winter's coming, I got to get a new battery, and it's the heat that actually kills it. But once the winter comes, because of the heat, that battery will fail in the wintertime.
And speaking of batteries, we've talked about it before, but a battery jump pack. Instead of just having the old-fashioned jumper cables, which are good, you've talked about a jump pack, which is about the same size of that.
A lot of the new ones are about that same size. We've got several different ones that we use. We get a car that's towed in, and it makes it a lot easier for us to just have one guy go out and use a jump pack and jump start it to get it inside, instead of pushing it in or having the tow truck drop it inside if we can. But yeah, we want to make sure that we have a jump pack, jumper cables. I mean, either one are sufficient, but make sure you have something.
All right, let's move to the side of the vehicle here. Let's talk about tires. We'll just kind of go from the front to the back. So tell me a little bit. You're going to go over and grab some tools, and as he does that looks very technical.
There's a couple different ways as far as checking tires. One thing we want to make sure when you look at the side of the tire that there's not a bunch of weather cracking or that there's cracks in the tire. And then we want to make sure and check the tread depth. There's several different tools. This one here is a digital that'll actually, when you stick it in the depth of the tire, when you go down and read it, it'll actually show you how many millimeters of tread are left. That's more of a sophisticated tool. There's very simple tools that we use that are just a basic tread depth gauge that'll actually show you in the millimeters or in 30 seconds of tread how many 30 seconds of tread are left. Most tires start new 11 to 13. Once we get down to 2s and 3s, we definitely want to make sure that we're replacing those tires. We want to make sure not only the windshield wipers, but make sure that the windshield washer fluid, I know we've had that conversation several times, but we want to make sure that windshield washer fluid is protected to sub-zero temperatures. But the big thing too is make sure that not only are we making sure the wipers aren't torn or cracked or starting to tear, but we want to make sure once it snows that we get the windshield cleaned off before we turn the wipers on.
And thanks as always to Al and everybody for their hospitality. Always a good reminder to take a little extra time to prepare yourself and your vehicle for a safe drive from point A to point B.